Good evening. Tonight, federal prosecutors indict Cuba's former president over the deadly shootdown of civilian planes in 1996. More than 2,000 mourners gather in San Diego after 3 men are killed in a devastating mosque attack. And forecasters say this hurricane season could bring fewer storms, but Americans shouldn't let their guard down. The Justice Department has indicted former Cuban President Raúl Castro on murder charges, nearly 3 decades after Cuban fighter jets shot down 2 civilian planes over international waters. 5 pilots who flew those missions are also named in the indictment. The incident killed 4 members of the Brothers to the Rescue organization, a Miami-based group that flew search missions for Cuban refugees in the Florida Straits. Castro, who's now 93 and lives in Havana, will almost certainly never face trial in an American courtroom. But the charges mark a significant symbolic move in Washington's approach to Cuba, as diplomatic relations remain frozen. Over 2,000 people gathered in San Diego yesterday for funeral prayers honoring 3 men killed in last week's attack at the Islamic Center of San Diego. The victims were shot by a gunman whose online manifesto showed clear ties to white nationalist ideology. The shooter's family has spoken publicly, saying their autistic son was radicalized through internet content. Despite the tragedy, San Diego's Muslim community is standing firm, refusing to be intimidated. Leaders say the massive turnout at yesterday's service demonstrates their resilience and determination to continue gathering for worship without fear.
Hurricane forecasters are predicting a lighter season this year, with 8 to 14 named storms expected in the Atlantic. That's below the average we've seen in recent years. But here's the catch. Fewer storms doesn't mean less danger. With ocean temperatures still running warmer than normal and coastal populations growing, even a single major hurricane can cause billions in damage. Last year's season was relatively quiet too, yet communities are still rebuilding. The takeaway for anyone living along the Gulf or Atlantic coast: one storm is all it takes to change everything.
Senate Republicans hit the brakes on a vote for ICE funding this week, and the holdup centers on President Trump's proposal for a $1.8 billion payout fund. Trump wants the money set aside for what he's calling an anti-weaponization initiative, essentially compensation for Americans he claims were wrongly targeted by government agencies. But GOP senators are balking at the price tag and the lack of clear guidelines on who qualifies. The internal revolt forced leadership to postpone voting on the broader reconciliation package until the party can find common ground on how this fund would actually work. Toni Braxton is taking her Grammy-winning hits to the screen. The R&B icon is starring in 2 Lifetime movies based on her biggest songs, He Wasn't Man Enough and Breathe Again. The projects mark a creative leap for Braxton, who's turning the emotional stories behind those 90s anthems into full dramatic narratives. Both films will explore themes of heartbreak, resilience, and self-discovery that made the original tracks resonate with millions of fans. This isn't Braxton's first acting rodeo either. She previously appeared in several TV movies and stage productions. But these passion projects feel deeply personal, bringing her own catalog to life in a way only she can deliver.
Hollywood's biggest films this year showed a troubling retreat on diversity, with fewer people of color in leading roles and behind the camera compared to recent years. Industry analysts are calling it a relapse into what they describe as colorblind complacency, where studios stopped prioritizing representation after the racial reckoning of 2020. The shift is especially stark given the box office success of diverse films like Black Panther and Crazy Rich Asians just a few years back. Critics say studios abandoned commitments once the social pressure eased, choosing safer, whiter casting despite audience demand for more inclusive storytelling. Hollywood and the entertainment world have been hit hard already in 2026, with several notable passings across film, television, fashion, and music. While the year is still young, we've already lost familiar faces that shaped American pop culture over decades. These losses remind us how quickly time passes and how the icons we grew up watching continue to age alongside us. The entertainment industry has paused to remember their contributions, with tributes pouring in from fellow artists and fans alike. Each loss leaves a mark on the creative landscape that defined generations of American entertainment.
The long-awaited Michael Jackson biopic finally has faces to the names. The film reveals its full cast lineup, showing the actors stepping into the shoes of music history. Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, takes on the king of pop himself. Nia Long portrays Katherine Jackson, while Coleman Domingo plays Joe Jackson. Miles Teller joins as John Branca, Jackson's longtime attorney. The movie, titled Michael, is set to hit theaters in October this year. For fans who've waited years for a proper Jackson story on screen, this first look at the cast offers a glimpse of how Hollywood plans to capture one of music's most complex and celebrated figures.
Major League Soccer is making broadcasting history this weekend, with a match that'll be captured entirely on iPhones. This isn't some experimental streaming test, it's a full professional broadcast using Apple smartphones instead of traditional multi-million-dollar camera rigs. The league sees this as a glimpse into the future of sports production, where smaller crews with mobile technology can deliver broadcast quality coverage at a fraction of the cost. It's a bold move that could reshape how leagues think about producing games, especially for lower-tier matches or youth tournaments where budgets are tight. The Knicks are now 2 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals after taking down the Cavaliers in Game 2. Josh Hart put up a playoff career-high 26 points to lead New York to victory in Cleveland. The series now shifts to Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks will look to close things out at home. New York's depth has been the story through 2 games, with multiple players stepping up on both ends of the floor. The Cavs face a must-win situation when they visit Manhattan for Game 3.
Inter Miami is closing in on signing Manchester United midfielder Casemiro, even though the LA Galaxy technically holds his MLS discovery rights. The Brazilian defensive midfielder, who won multiple Champions League titles with Real Madrid, has struggled at United this season and appears ready for a reunion with his former teammate, Lionel Messi, in Florida. The move could test MLS rules around discovery rights, which give teams exclusive negotiating power with certain players. Miami's ownership continues building a star-studded roster after already landing Messi, Suarez, and Busquets in recent seasons. The New York Knicks are now 2 wins away from the NBA Finals after dominating the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks' defense completely shut down Cleveland's offense in the second half, and Madison Square Garden erupted as the home team built an insurmountable lead. New York Stars delivered when it mattered most, and the momentum has clearly shifted. The series now heads to Cleveland, where the Cavaliers will need to defend home court or face elimination. The Knicks haven't been to the finals since 1999, and their fans can finally taste it.
NASCAR legend Kyle Busch has died at 41 after battling what officials described as a severe illness. Planned Parenthood is now offering abortion pills in advance to patients in 2 states, a so-called just-in-case approach amid ongoing legal battles over reproductive rights. The IRS finds itself in an unusual position after the Trump family secured audit immunity under a recent agreement. House Republicans have called off a vote that would have limited the president's authority to conduct military operations in Iran. Trump's controversial arch monument has passed another federal review despite significant opposition from preservationists and local communities. The Democratic National Committee released its 2024 election autopsy, reigniting internal debates over the Harris campaign strategy. the White House announced plans to deploy 5,000 troops to Poland, a move that reportedly caught Pentagon officials off guard. And Senate Republicans are pushing back hard against Trump's request for $1.8 trillion in additional federal spending.
That's your United States in 10 minutes for Friday, May 22, 2026. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We do this every single day. See you tomorrow.